What is up, YouTube? This is me, MapCRim here for some Pokemon Black and White battles. This battle is versus KwandaoRen66, aka Elo, and he's trying out his new team while I'm just using random pokes I haven't either used ever or just I haven't used in a long time. So I live with my Ricardo, and I went for the Stealth Rocks as the Frostlass goes for the Choice Scarf, and I was like, fuck my life. So I switched out to my Buff DDD because, well, this thing just looks like King DDD, but like without a hammer and 4 arms and fucking like buff as hell. So yeah, goes for the Destiny Bond, and I kind of predicted the Destiny Bond and went to my substitute, but then I was like, wait, what am I gonna do now? Because now he's just gonna Destiny Bond, and I was like, oh, that's not good. So I just went for the Ice Punch, just to, I don't even know. I just didn't want to kill this thing yet because Destiny Bond and stuff. And yeah, I don't even know what I was gonna do. And I looked at my team and I was like, eh. So I just killed it. I didn't really care because I got Stealth Rocks and stuff and whatever. So yeah, I just paybacked and I was like, is this gonna kill? I wonder if it will. And then it kills. So I was like, whatever. So my Buff DDD dies without doing really anything at all and stuff. And yeah, so that was kind of sad face. I kind of cried inside a bit right there. And he sends in his Basin. At the same time, I send in my Scyther, which I was like, dude, really? That was horrible. So I switched out. And I went to my Ricardo because Scarfed and stuff. Now I was kind of predicting the Nitro Charge because usually these things have that. So yeah. And it did, and it had Nitro Charge, and he used it, and it got speed up. But because I'm Scarfed, I ended up being faster than this thing, and he realized that, so he switched out into his Sazendora, which is like, yeah. And I used Psychic, which sucks, and now I'm locked into Psychic, and I'm like, dude, that's just mean. So, yeah, my Ricardo is like totally useless right now. And I switched into my Zapdos. I was kind of predicting either a Dark Pulse or Fire Blast, or really, I didn't really care what it used, but I knew it was going to live. Except that did way more than I thought to my Zapdos, and I was like, ooh. So I just U-turned out. This is a weird Zapdos. I'll tell you what the Zapdos is later. But, yeah. I use U-turn. Doesn't kill this Sazendora, and I'm like, really? It didn't die. I was like, what? So I switched to my, what's his face? My Ricardo again, and it took a Dark Pulse to the face, which I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting wrecked now. So Kwandao's kind of like, okay, you're owning me. And now I send in my Zapdos. Now this Zapdos is a Scarfed physical set Zapdos. This is like, I don't even know. I don't know why I thought of this set, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a physical Zapdos. And I made it Scarfed. So, yeah, so now I think he realizes I'm Scarfed, and yeah, he sends in his Raikou named Mick, which is like whatever. And I predicted Calm Mind because, you know, obvious which is obvious because I'm not gonna drill peck it, so yeah, he uses Calm Mind, and I'm like, well, that sucks, because I know he's faster, and I thought, you know, after a Calm Mind, a Thunderbolt from a Raikou would probably kill an Arcanine. So I just went for the Choice Banded Extreme Speed, and he uses Thunderbolt, and I ended up living, and I'm like, wow, I could have just Flare Blitzed, but yeah, that never worked, or that didn't work, not never worked, but whatever. So I just got another Extreme Speed. Still didn't kill it, and I'm like sad face because it dies from an extra sensory. I'm guessing he used the extra sensory just in case I switched in Zapdos because my Zapdos does have Lightning Rod. And yeah, so now I send in my Zapdos, and I use Return, and Return takes out the Raikou, which is kind of nice. This Zapdos is like MVP of the match. This thing was epic. So yeah, now he knows I'm locked into Return, and I can't kill it with a Return. Sends in his thing, whatever, the Fire Starter Pig, Boar, whatever you want to call it. And I send in my Refrigerator, because Refrigerator's like the best name for Alligator. And I predict the Nitro Charge, which was, you know, obvious, and he does get a Speed Raise. And I thought, okay, well, I could Dragon Dance, and I know I'm faster than it if he has +1 and I have +1. And he uses Wild Bolt, and I'm like, oh, that sucks, because those things have Reckless ability, which is just evil, because it knows Flare Blitz, Head Smash, and Wild Bolt, which is 3 recoil moves. And I'm like, wow. So I'm actually kind of tempting to get one of those. So now I just send in Zapdos. I knew I was faster, +1 and +1, and he knew he was faster, so he switched into his Milotic. And Milotic is like, oh, that's not good. So I just used Drill Peck, because, you know, he switched and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm just getting tired of getting, like, switched upon, so I just used Drill Peck again, and I'm like, okay, just kill me with an Ice Beam. But he didn't kill me with Ice Beam, he used Recover, and I was like, really? Really? So, yeah. I was like, whatever. So, I believe, yeah, I switch out now, and I switch out to my Scyther. This Scyther is the weirdest Scyther ever. Whatever, I was predicting it to recover again, because, you know, if I Drill Pecked again, it would be at full health and stuff. Uses Ice Beam, and it gets a crit, and I know what you're thinking. Crit, Ice Beam, and my Scyther's still alive. You're like, what? This Scyther is Evolution Stone. It's basically a wannabe Scizor. What it is that's Roost, Swords Dance, Bug Bite, and Quick Attack. It's the weirdest freaking move pool ever. It's pretty dumb, to be honest. But, you know, like I said, this team is just full of pokes that I've never really used. So, yeah, I knew that an Ice Beam would not kill me at this point. So, I just go for the Swords Dance. And, yeah, I was right. It didn't kill me. And so I just roosted again. Because if it did use Ice Beam again, you know, neutral damage is not super effective and stuff because Roost. And, yeah. So I used Roost, got my HP restored and stuff, and it uses Boiling Water. And I'm like, please don't burn. Please don't burn. But it crits me. And I'm like, please don't crit and burn. But it didn't burn. So I was like, okay, I guess a crit's better than a burn. Because I could just roost it off again. Which would have been nice. And stuff. And he goes for another Boiling Water. I'm like, okay, you're just gonna spam Boiling Water until you get a bird. But he doesn't get a bird. And I'm like, this is nice. So basically it's just a little tiny mini Star War here. And I'm just roosting, he's just Boiling Watering. And I believe this is the last roost, which is okay. So yeah, I get my roost and he goes for another Boiling Water, which is like, whatever. So now I finally go for the Bug Bite, and I was like, alright, I gotta use Bug Bite before he burns me or something, and I get a crit, and I'm like, sweet. That's epic. And I one-shot the Milotic, which is like the best shit ever. So now he sends an Gallade, and I was like, well, he could use Stone Edge or Ice Punch or something, and I didn't really care because I knew his last two Pokemon were Gallade and the Fire Starter, Boober. What is it called? I don't even know. But yeah. So I know I have my Scarf Zapdos, which I could just Drill Peck both of them to death, and that's pretty much good game. So yeah, his Gallade gets taken down, and he sends in his Basin. I forget what it's called. Something Embor. I think that's what it was. I don't even know. Whatever. So I Drill Pecked it, and it died, and that's good game. So good game, Elo. Comment, rate, and subscribe, guys. I'll see ya.